Peace, party people. Welcome to my Killer Tape at. This is going to be a two-parter. Me and my man Zmo the Kid are going to do a spoiler-filled review of Avengers Infinity War. I know we're about a month out of it almost, but we just want to make sure everybody got a chance to see it before we started to discuss it in length. This is going to be a two-parter, so episode 14 will be part 1, episode 15 will be part 2. So bear with us, we're going to geek out. We said a couple of things about non-comic book writers, but you know the drill. Peace!
Yes, I like the rhymes.
All of us are born with the miraculous ability to determine the direction from which sounds approach us.
Let us venture into new and uncharted land.
People get shook up, when I'm introduced as God.
You got that good hair, too.
You're the first one out there with a dashiki talking that crap.
It's like a jungle sometimes, it makes me wonder how I keep from going under. It's like a jungle sometimes, it makes me wonder how I keep from going under.
I pull up, hop out, air out, made it look sexy. They won't take me out my element. Nah, take me out my element.
For this episode, we didn't actually do this because we recorded it early, but in the editing process, I am sipping on Clown Shoes chocolate sombrero, Mexican style chocolate stout. There it is. Once again, Clown Shoes make some really dope stuff. If you had a chance to check them out. No, they're not paying me. But once again, chocolate sombrero, Mexican style chocolate stout is like really dope. Not as like chocolatey as the other stuff that I got, that Imperial double chocolate joint they have, but this one is up there, man. Word is born. Peace, ladies and gentlemen. This is once again Dan Trezomi. I'm with my Killer Tape at. And as promised, I was going to bring my man on board here so we could talk about Infinity War. And I know it's been like almost a month now that it's out. We wanted everybody to have a chance to watch it before we start doing the spoilers. So this is going to be a two-parter. So I'm introduced to you, my man. I've known this brother for a long time. Everybody, let's give a shout out and a warm welcome to my man Zmo. Dope-ass MC, does production. I think he's the only cat left on the planet that still does concept albums outside of K-Dot. So, yo, what's up, Zmo? How you doing?
Yeah, peace. What's going on, world? Feeling great.
That's dope. And I met Zmo through hip hop. Like, he was a young MC, and he used to come to a lot of the shows we put together. We used to go see him perform as well. And actually, I met him through my man, who's also a comic head. I need to get in touch with him. I don't want to say his honorable name online because I forgot what his MC name was. Right. So, but I met him through him, he's also a comic head. And what I mean by comic head, and we were just talking about that before we came on the air, we mean people that actually read the comics. No disrespect if you feel slighted by that, then fuck you. Because when you say I'm a geek, I'm assuming you read the comics. So let me ask you this question real quick before we start. How did you get into comic books?
My mother's younger brother, obviously my uncle, he was living with us when I was coming up. I was, how old was I? I might have been about 7. And he lived with us and he worked at, I don't know if you remember Walden Bookstore?
Yeah, oh wow.
Back in the day? Yeah, boom, take it back. He worked there and he used to just bring me books, like, from the job. You know what I mean? And so I still got a few of them. Some of them I don't have anymore because, when you move and stuff, things get lost in the scuffle. But, and, he was, he's obviously a big comic book geek, so he'd always just bring me books home. And that's pretty much how I got into it from there. Interesting side note, he also went on to own his own store in Ellicott City, Maryland in the early 90s, his own comic book store.
Wow.
I remember we used to go up and visit him. Always free books, boom. Just here you go, whatever you want.
Wow.
So, yeah. Props to my uncle, and because without him, I probably wouldn't, I'd probably be like everybody else, just watching the movies, like straight up, like just watching the movies. He'd always bless me with some rare gems. Matter of fact, he still does to this day. Like every now and then, I'll still get just like a package on my doorstep from Amazon. Boom, like yo, was thinking about you, nephew. Here it is.
Man, that's dope, man. I didn't
Yeah.
know that, man. We're gonna get into that towards the end of the show about being young and then like because we're both dads and how it is with our kids and everything. So we're definitely
Right.
gonna get into that. But man, yo, that's a dope story. I didn't know that, man.
Yeah, facts.
I didn't know that, man. So
True story.
thank you for sharing.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was my first question. So now we're gonna talk about Avengers Infinity War. How did you feel overall about it?
Feelings were on the positive side for sure. If anything, from my understanding, just like off the break, as a geek, you always want to try and break things down. But I went into this just watching it as what it was, just a movie. Kind of like trying to leave my knowledge of whatever books I've read, in the books. But as a film, it was probably the fastest 2.5 hours I've ever sat in the movie theater. I will say that because once it started, that thing was on and it was popping. It's probably one of the best times at the movies I've probably had in a minute. Yeah, as a piece of cinema, as a piece of cinema that brings our comic books to life, it's definitely probably one of the better ones. Like Thanos, like the effects they used to make Thanos look on screen, they weren't cheesy or corny or anything like that. Like everything just looked the way it was supposed to look, and it just, I don't know. That was my initial reaction was just everything just looked the way I'd always imagined it to look on the screen. You know what I mean?
So my question is because I had like super high expectations, right? Like I had like, and I know as a comic book head, like, you can't go into the theater sometimes having high expectations. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I was saying. I checked mine at the door, and I was like, I'm gonna just go in and watch this as a movie.
I had high expectations. I really had high expectations because remember at this point MCU movies is 18 movies deep. The 18 movies deep. They built up this stuff. About, and it's funny because I ran into a lot of people who were not comic book heads, and they were like, "Hey, who's the Thanos guy?" And I'm like, "Well,
how do you know?"
But hold on. I feel you. I feel you 100%. But at first, I'm like, "What the hell? What was y'all watching?" But hold on. But if you go back, because I had to go back and look, there were mentions of him, and he appeared in end credit scenes. In Guardians of the Galaxy, he had like a couple scenes, but he didn't really do shit. You know what I'm saying? And remember that Ronan the Accuser killed this man in front of him, and he ain't really do nothing. So like, a lot of people, if you don't read the comics, they were like, "Yo, who is this dude?" So I'm thinking as a comic book head. I'm coming as a comic book head. So when you look at that movies, they didn't really do a lot of discussion of who he was. And,
true indeed.
And I think, and that was my biggest worry. My biggest worry is, okay, I know who he is. Matter of fact, you could do any movie on any comic book character right now with no backup, and I would like the movie because I know about it, right? So I kind of knew, but I said, how are they going to put this together and kind of explain who he is and what he's about, and still have him? Because I originally thought that he was going to find like maybe half the stones in this movie, and then the other half.
You read my mind.
Yeah,
so
so I had these expectations and they exceeded them. Like they really did. Marvel did a good job. And you're right, 2.5 hours. It felt like an hour. The pacing was great, and it met all my expectations. And I know I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have went in there with that because I would have been easily disappointed. But my expectations were high, and Marvel did a good job of exceeding those expectations.
Yeah, because I remember going to see the first Avengers with a group of coworkers. And then, the end credit scene where, Thanos pops up. And I'm just like, "Yo, Thanos." And they're like, "Who is he?" I'm just like, "I hate all of you."
yo, I'm going to tell you what happened to me.
I'm like, how do y'all not know who this dude is? You know what I'm saying? Like, because, some of these people will claim, like I said, they claim to be geeks.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yo, son, like, there's no way you've read any book and I know who this guy is."
Exactly.
You're bugging.
No, because I know like when I was in the theater and he came out, I was like, "Oh shit, Thanos!" Like I said it out loud.
Yeah,
and
no.
Everybody looked at me like, "Yo, what the hell?" And actually, somebody I don't remember their exact words, but they were pretty much like, "I had a geek orgasm." There's like these guys over there having an orgasm off the end of the movie, and I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was low key insulted. I was like, "Yo, who said that?" You know what I mean? Because I couldn't hear it. I couldn't see who it was, but. I was like, and then I remember going online and reading people making those kind of statements, like, man, these geeks were having orgasm. And I think I seen a stand-up comedian joke about it, and I was just like, damn, y'all, what's wrong with y'all? You know what I mean? But again, we know who he is. You could throw anybody in there in any movie, especially the Easter eggs. You could be like, oh snap, that's so and so. I like look at Adam Warlock. Oh snap, that's Adam Warlock. And I'm like, who the hell is that? You know,
waiting for him.
And they didn't even show his face. They just showed the coffin. You know what I mean? So like, again, I had high expectations. And I was wondering how Marvel was going to, you know, put this all together, explain Thanos and how he is and how he gets down and what his whole mission was about. And then, you know, for him to get all Infinity Stones in one movie was just like, man, how are they going to pull this off? And they did it. You know, they did it.
Yeah, I'm like you. Like I said, I figured like he'd get like, you know, the first 3 or 4 or whatever. And then, you know, to be continued. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. And then I thought he was going to like snap his fingers maybe like in the first hour of the second film, and and then like then they will come back and defeat him and get the Infinity and bring everything back. But I know it's gonna be like this. So, so we're gonna get into anything else you want to add on to that before we get into the good?
No. Let's keep it moving.
Okay, all right. So the next one, you know, what is the good? When we do our reviews, we talk about the good, the bad. So what was the good about the movie?
The good is probably the best thing about it is like all these characters on screen and their chemistry. You know what I mean? All these, just think about how many big name actors. I mean, this is still Hollywood. We're having a geek moment, but this is still Hollywood.
Yeah. You
know, the fact that, you know, the production staff was able to get all these high name actors under one umbrella and get them to work together and actually work. It doesn't feel forced. Like, just think about how many characters were off in their own movies, you know, like whether it's Guardians or Iron Man or whatever, you know, and now you got to put them all together, have them interact with each other, and it still flow, you know. I think the film did a great job of that.
I think the team ups. I think we moved to the team ups, like, and it reminded me of like Marvel team up, like. It really did. Like, it was just like, oh snap, and then like how each group interacted and dynamics, and then how they work together. Because it's one thing if you're like with your crew and you're doing something, but then when you're like with a totally different stranger, and you know, we always joke about how in Marvel comics, your heroes usually attack each other first, and then they're like, oh wait a second,
we need to fight. We need to work together.
Yeah, we need to work together. So they did all of that. I thought that was cool, and how they put it together, and then just like. How they like when they fought against Thanos on Titan, and then like and then the heroes on in Wakanda, like how they work together, like all that, like seeing War Machine and Falcon work together, like that was like, oh, that was dope. So
super dope, yeah.
So that's one thing I took is like they did the team ups really good. It kind of reminded me of that one crossover, Original Sin, where they put all these weird characters together, like the Punisher and Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah,
Emma Frost and T'Challa, and it was just like, yo, these are weird pairings, but they all worked well. And it's actually the only thing I liked about Original Sin. That's the only thing I liked about it. So,
I got you.
So yep. What else did you find that was good?
I like how I mean, due to the fact, I guess, because when they made this movie, they still they hadn't bought out 20th Century Fox yet, right?
Yeah, correct. When they made this movie actually before Black Panther. Like it was, it was like, well, it was still in production when they started filming Black Panther. So,
all right, so you know obviously there's obvious characters that they still couldn't use in their films. Like think about like the opening. Well, it's not necessarily the opening scene where Hulk crashes into Doctor Strange and Wong. How originally in the book it's Silver Surfer. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, I thought like that was a good. I like how they were still able to work with the story. You know what I mean? Even though they didn't have full use of the characters.
They didn't. It's kind of like Civil War. Civil War was missing like 70% of the characters. You know, that were in Civil War.
They still pulled it off.
They still pulled it off, and you're right. Yeah. They didn't have the Eternals. They didn't have they didn't have the what they call it, the aspects of the Marvel universe, like the Living Tribunal, Order of Chaos, and all. They didn't have all those people. They didn't have the Kree. They didn't have all these, they didn't have all this stuff in there that was kind of like part of the original story. But you're right, they still pulled it off.
Right. Yeah. So things like that, due to the fact that they didn't have access to all the, some integral parts of the book. I thought they still did a really good job. There's no Silver Surfer. There's no Doctor Doom. You know what I mean? There's no. Man, who else is missing that they didn't own?
I mean, we could go on and on about who was missing.
I mean, Fantastic Four disappear in the book. so that don't even really matter.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know, I mean, you know what I'm saying? You understand my point, though. You know
No,
what I mean?
I agree.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Civil War. Like I'm not gonna lie, when I went to see Civil War, I'll be the first to admit, I was like, this is not gonna work.
Oh
Civil
yeah,
War is
same
not
here.
gonna work.
Because I'm just like, well, what's gonna set off the conflict? You know what I mean? Because
Exactly.
you already got X amount of characters just missing from this universe. You know what I mean? Like what's really gonna set off the conflict? But yeah, they hit it spot on.
They pulled it off.
I was impressed. Yeah.
I mean, like, I know somebody made a joke. There was a meme online where they showed like the scene at the airport, and then they showed the scene of the Battle of New York in the comic book Civil War, and there's like everything is filled with heroes. Like every angle, every part of that panel is filled with heroes. It's a splash page, and then you compare it to the airport scene, and it's kind of like it's really you're like, yo, what happened? But they pulled it off. They pulled it off. So
yeah,
I thought that was great. I think the pacing was amazing because
for sure.
They had like so many characters, so many different locations. Like there was like so many different locations where they were at, and they were able to, because my wife went to see it, and she was like, okay, she kept up with it. She was like, wow, I could keep up with this, even though there was a lot of locations and a lot of characters. The pacing was just amazing on that.
Yeah, because I think everywhere they went in the movie, if anything, you actually pay attention to the dialogue. Like, a lot of times, like, they were talking about where the next place that, something needed to happen would happen at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then boom, then the screen was right there.
Exactly.
So it shouldn't have been a surprise to you. You know what I mean? Like, I like how, if anything, the movie kind of just gives everybody training wheels, and it's like, look, this is where we're going to take you. You know what I'm saying?
Pretty much, yeah. I agree. Yeah. I think they did a lot of hand holding, which I think is okay.
Yeah.
A lot of hand holding, and I think in of
Uh-huh.
itself, what I point out to people is that actually, Avengers Infinity War, there's no third act. It is a third act.
Oh, you know what? Well, that wasn't even going to say. I agree with you. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't necessarily see it as an actual final third act. I remember I broke it down to some people at work. I was like, yeah, like, how most movies, they have their three acts. There's one, I was like, to me, like, this movie was just one big, I guess, because we know there's a sequel, I'm gonna say it's the first act.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
mean?
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like to me, it was just like one big old setup. You know what I mean? Like 2.5 hours of a setup. Probably the best setup in cinematic history, like, I guess, due to the fact of when you look at everything that transpired, but which it really raises your expectations for the second film.
Oh, yeah.
The second film, like, it has to do a whole lot.
You know what's funny? What's funny is that when you talk to like comic book heads, and you talk to like non-comic book heads, so like non-comic book heads were actually mad at the ending. They were like, "Oh my god!" And I'm like, for us, it's like, "Holy smoke! He snapped his fingers! Holy smoke!
Right.
Like, this is amazing! Like, this is great!" And they were looking at me like, "Yo, why you tripping?" And I'm like, "This is just like how it happened in the comic. Not exactly, but he snapped his fingers, and this is what happened."
Yeah, because like in the comics, like it's like 6 issues of Infinity Gauntlet. I think it happens in like issue 1, right?
Yeah, issue 1. It's like issue 2 because he already has the Infinity Stones.
Yeah, when it starts.
And then the heroes find out after the fact.
Right.
When Silver Surfer lands on Earth, it happens after the fact. Yeah. Yeah,
like half the universe is gone. You know what I mean? Like, and everybody's suspecting it to be somebody else, which it really isn't.
Yeah.
Everybody's expecting it's this person, it's that person. But like, nah, yeah. So like, for him to snap his fingers like right at the end, I was like, yo, this is crazy. This is happening. This is happening.
And it's funny because in the middle of the movie, he says, "I'm just gonna snap my fingers and I'm gonna do this," and I'm like, he ain't gonna do that. Like, I like that shout out. I'm like, okay, that's a nice nod. That's a nice Easter egg, But then he did it. I was like, whoa, And but a lot of people were literally like, oh my god, what happened? And I'm like, well, this is what happens in the comic. Like, this is how it actually goes down,
Right. So, yeah, a lot of people's reaction, like, people were texting me like they tell me that they, I just saw the movie. Like, what did I just watch? You know what I'm saying? Like, what did I just see? I was like, this is the way it's supposed to go, man.
Yeah, this is how it's supposed to go now. You're right.
Now with the praise that we just gave it in regards to like how the fact that we're still able to make the movie flow without certain access to characters and kind of doing their own thing, sans the book. I'm kind of real curious to see how they're gonna take it. Because I'll admit, with the next movie, I'm probably gonna go in there as just a clean slate. Just like I'm gonna try. But then again, that depends on what happens with this Ant-Man movie and this Captain Marvel movie too. So
I heard the Ant-Man. The Ant-Man movie is post Civil War.
Right. It's just pretty much what he was doing because he's like
House Arrest.
House Arrest, yeah. So.
And then Captain Marvel was supposed to happen in the 90s.
Right.
We're gonna get to that in a second. We're gonna get to that. So
bet.
anything else that you thought that was really good about the movie that you thought like really stood out?
Nothing that nobody else has already said. Like I said, like the big thing to me was the fact that they got all these. I mean, because there's not like these aren't C-list actors that they got in this movie. You know what I mean? You know, the fact that they were get all these people under one banner. You know, and produce a good product. You know, for the greater good of, us geeks everywhere and just good, great cinema.
No, I agree. And you said something earlier that I think should be noted. Like, this has never been done before.
Yeah, never.
Like, set up, all this world building over all these movies over all these years, and this was the, this was the
culminating moment.
Event, putting them all together, and it's never been done before. And I think that if somebody else tries to do it, it's not going to work. Like, having everything work, having the budget you need for it, having all that stuff, like just putting it together and then making a dope movie out of it was very difficult. But they pulled it. Marvel took a lot of risks. They took a lot of risks.
For sure.
They took a lot of risks with Guardians, I think. They took.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
They took a big risk with Doctor Strange. They took a big risk with Iron Man, to be honest. Because before that movie, a lot of people, when they thought Marvel, they didn't think of Iron Man. So
they think Spider-Man, Captain America, people like that.
Exactly, the Hulk.
Yeah,
so
Hulk,
Wolverine.
yeah.
So like. So all right, we're gonna go ahead and go into the bad. What did you think was bad in the movie, if anything?
I'm gonna be honest. Like when you had initially brought it up, and you said we were gonna talk about the bad. I really kind of had a difficult time thinking of something that was bad about the movie per se. I mean, I could be like real nitpicky and say, well, they didn't follow the book, verbatim. You know what I mean? The way I wanted them to, but that's just me being extra and reaching, but like I said, I realized, different, storytelling, mediums, you know what I'm saying? This is the book, this is the movie. They don't necessarily have to be the same.
Exactly.
If I want to read the book, I'm going to just read the book. I'm here to see this movie, so let me just enjoy it in the way that it's presented. I'm be honest, I really can't think of too much bad. Like nothing comes to mind. Maybe you might think of something, and then it might rehash something that I was thinking.
My first issue is that his motive. Like
okay.
Like, and I know that it would have been hard to introduce the aspect because my thing with the Marvel Cinematic Universe is that they haven't really introduced the aspects. The Living Tribunal, Order and Chaos, the In-Betweener.
Like Mistress Death didn't come up like not once.
Not once,
and,
yeah.
And I was. That's what I'm saying. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, but the reason I don't think it's a bad thing because it's still another movie. You know what I mean? Like so.
True indeed, no, but I just feel like his motivations of like, well, we don't have enough resources, and
right.
And it's kind of like, I know that in the Marvel universe, there's civilizations that have fixed that problem because of their technology. Right. They had at one time it was unequal. And then they fixed it, and everybody has access to healthcare, et cetera, et cetera. There's certain diseases they don't have because of their technology. So you would think that they would have civilizations that wouldn't have that problem, particularly Titan. And I know I'm nitpicking. I just felt like it was just like well, we can't think anything, so let's just throw something in there, right?
Right.
Like the motive, like what is his motive? Like I could see if he was like, I just want to rule the universe and show people how powerful I am. I probably would have went with that. But the idea of, when I was on Titan, the reason why they called me the Mad Titan was because I was like, hey, just kill half the population and we'll fix our problems.
Problem solved.
Yeah, and they're like, man, you crazy. Like, that's not why he was known for being the Mad Titan, because he destroyed Titan. Like, he came back and destroyed Titan.
Right.
The second issue I had is I love the Black Order. And I know that in the comic book, half of them are dead. I know that. Half of them are dead. But they weren't as formidable as they were in the comic book,
Right.
And I know Thanos himself is formidable, and I like that. It's just like in the comic when Thanos is coming, people start tripping and they start panicking. I like that, but I just kind of felt like the Black Order were just regular lackeys, and I'm like, man, you didn't really get to see them do their thing.
They kind of got. Done up real quick.
Yeah, they got done up very quickly.
Like for real. Like
so, and that was my issue. And I was kind of like, man, like they could have done. Don't get me wrong, the heroes are formidable themselves,
Mm-hmm.
You know, but you have to be kind of like super powered to take them on. You know,
Right.
they're not. You know, I can't go out there and be like, yo, let me throw some capoeira on you, and you know, it's not gonna happen. Like, it's not going down like that. So that was my issue. You know, and I like the Black Order. I like Corvus Glaive. I like my man that be seducing people because he's not a telekinetic in the comic book, but we don't actually know what his powers are, but we know that he seduces the Ebony Maw. You know,
yeah.
He just seduces people and convinces them.
He was rather, real stoic. You know what I'm saying? In his presentation when he popped up on screen, man, real calm, real like,
Yeah.
The interaction with him and Strange in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I liked them.
Man.
I liked them. I just felt like they didn't make them as formidable as I expected them to be. You know.
No, you're right. Because by the time it was Spider-Man. Hey, you seen that old movie Aliens?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like boom, get sucked out into space, and now he's gone.
That was gone. Yeah.
It's like word, like that's it.
Yep. So
okay, since you brought it up, I would have loved to see them like all kind of rock together with Thanos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That would have been real dope.
Yep.
Oh,
So
okay.
those are my issues. I felt like again, I'm nitpicky. I felt like I liked the Wakanda battle, right?
Super dope.
But I kind of felt like, wait a second, Wakandans, y'all not just cats that just be like, we're just going to attack them head on. Like, Black Panther, and the comic book has me thinking that, Wakandans are usually smarter than that. They don't, they're not going to say, hey, we're just going to attack you in battle. Like, where were the rhinos? Like, the rhinos would have been perfect in that scene. Like, that would have been dope, So, so I kind of felt like it could have been better. I didn't feel like the gravity of the situation was dire. Like, we're just gonna fight them, and I love and the reason why I say that is because when they're discussing what they're gonna do, and then one of the ships hits the shield, and it's destroyed. I'm like, okay, it's not gonna be easy coming in here, And I thought they had a contingency plan for that, Like I thought they had we'll have laser gun emplacements out here, to just wipe out the second wave of these guys, And I was just like, y'all just gonna go out there and just fight, like. Wait a second, hold on. This is not Lord of the Rings, right? So.
Right. No, I got you. I mean, like I said, it's nothing that I would necessarily consider bad. You know what I mean? But I feel you. You kind of Monday morning quarterbacking, but I get you. You know what I'm saying? I get you. Like, now that it's over, of course.
Like it could have been different. Like, I'm thinking that like Wakanda is like, well, we fight wars, but we do it to where there's minimum casualties on our side. And I just thought that we're gonna have like booby traps and for a place that's like we don't want nobody coming in here. For centuries we've kept it a secret. We actually have things in place where you can't just run up in here. Right.
You know
what I'm saying? Like you're just not gonna run up in here. Like we have traps, booby traps, we have laser gun emplacements and stuff like that, and minefields and But I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too nitpicky. So yeah, but other than that, like those are the only, like I wish they could have fixed that Thanos thing, because that idea of destroy half the universe and everything would be equal.
I definitely give you that in regards to like motives. Because most, but not necessarily to counter that, but the thing about most villains is, they don't believe that they're the villain. They don't believe that they're the bad guy. They believe that what they believe is right, and you're just kind of in the way of me. Manifesting my destiny, as it were. So like this is like to hint to Thanos. This is the way it needs to be. Yeah. It doesn't really matter why he thinks that. That's just kind of what it is in regards to this film, anyway.
I hear you. I got one more question, like because we've been discussing this I've been discussing this with other people, and I haven't like really got like I don't think there's any idea, and I hope they fix it in the fourth movie. And maybe again I'm being nitpicky. I thought it was cool that Red Skull was in the Soul Stone.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that.
I'm not mad at that at all. But I still don't understand how he got there.
Me neither. But I was just like, I was just, jaw dropping everything. I was like, yo, I was like, word, this is where we're going. Like I said, like they did a good job of the screen time between all these characters. Mm-hmm. And then just like boom, like that was a surprise to me. I ain't gonna say I did not expect at all to see Red Skull in this movie, like at all. It's like word, Red Skull's the keeper of the Soul Stone. Okay.
So yeah, I didn't see that coming.
I'll go with that.
And I was like, did he have the Soul Stone? And I was like, well, okay, you know what? Hopefully they'll explain it. But I'm just trying to figure out how he got there. Like,
Oh, okay. Here's something. It's not necessarily bad, but since you were being nitpicky, I would have liked to see how Thanos got the Power Stone versus them just talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
like
yeah,
how,
I forgot to mention that because he
You know what I'm
mentions it in the beginning. He says, "I raised Xandar."
You're right. Yeah.
I raised Xandar to get it, and it would have been. I actually expected to see that
Yeah,
because
I think
we know that Xandar got it in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1.
Right.
And I kind of, looking back now, I'm like, man, they could have had a close end credit scene in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 because he's just mentioned in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And it would have been cool to see that he destroyed Xandar. That would have been dope. And I'm gonna be mad if they put it in the deleted scenes and.
Like I said, maybe it'll be a flashback in the next movie or something. I don't know, but I really kind of wish. I was like, yo, we need to see him and the Black Order get busy going to, you know what I'm saying?
To Xandar, yep.
Yeah, man, like that would have been really good to see on screen. So, like I said, being nitpicky, but it is what it is.
I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
And when I watched the movie the first time, because I saw it twice, I was like, man, I wish they had shown that. I wish they had shown him attacking Xandar.
Yeah, it was just kind of like a side note in the discussion. I was like, word?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, son.
So, yeah. Real quick, that this was recorded on Memorial Day, and this is a personal thing with me. This goes out to Javon, my man Javon and his family. Javon was the brother that introduced me to one of my mentees, Kwame. I know him as Q, another dope MC. And man, through Javon, I met like so many other dope people. Godchild, 13, and all of them. Javon was actually my boy Q's uncle. Really cool dude. Probably always smiling, man. Anyway, he died several years ago when he was in Iraq, and his Jeep hit an IED and he died. And it was actually like right before Easter that it happened. So really, like, when Memorial Day comes around, I think about him, and it's just such a positive impact he had on my life and those around me, and how, like, damn, this shit is real, man, because we didn't have to go to Iraq. We didn't have to go there. And a lot of troops died over there, man. And Memorial Day always makes me think about the different people that had passed that were killed fighting wars that we ain't even have to fight. You know what I mean? Like, so we know fathers and mothers who never made it back, and brothers and sisters and uncles and aunties that would have been here if those in power made a different decision. So that's when I think about Memorial Day, I think about that, really, for real. And I hate to lead on a somber note like that, but that's who I want to shout out. Word, man, you will always be in the mansions that is our memories. Peace. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, part 1 and episode 14 of the spoiler-filled review of Avengers Infinity War. Definitely thank y'all for listening, especially those that don't really geek out or who are like avid comic book readers. I know we said a couple of things about y'all. I mean, I said it, my bad. Actually, no, my bad. That's exactly how I feel. Anyway, you can check me on the Twitters at DanTresomi, DANTRESOMI, or you can hit me up at Omi's Podcast, OMISPODCAST. You could continue the discussion on it. Hashtag where my killer tape at, killer spelled KILLA. I'm gonna get Merc up. I know I keep saying that, but again, thank y'all to all my listeners. I love y'all. Word.